This episode has been a tough one to put together because I've already had to pivot 3 times on this episode. As after the loss with San Jose, I was prepared to wear a bag over my head. I'm not even joking. Then I was going to be so proud to wear my Zach Hyman jersey today after that awesome effort in Seattle. They actually started looking like a team. And then we get the disheartening news that Jay Woodcroft got fired this morning.
Welcome back to the channel, guys. My name is Gene. You guys are watching Lubed for March the 4th, 2024. This is episode of 46 of season 3. We are in second place. What an awesome, amazing weekend as the Oilers held their opponents to only 2 goals. And we definitely saw the changing of the guard as far as the Pittsburgh Penguins and the Edmonton Oilers go last night, as in some ways I was a little bit upset watching that because, Crosby did a lot for Canada in the Olympics and all that kind of stuff, and he's a very memorable figure, but boy, oh boy, he did not look nearly like the player that I remember, and it's kind of sad, but it is. That's how it goes, Players get older, they get not as effective, and we're witnessing the last few years of Crosby's career, which is it's quite upsetting. That being said, there's another prime. We got to get a cup. We got to get it now. We can't let this team fail to getting that cup. So hopefully they do something at the deadline. Well, now it's starting to seem like things are going to be kind of quieting down a little bit because the markets are just ridiculously high for what the asking price is for certain players. And I'm fine if they can stand with it and go with it, but I would like to see something happen. Anyway, so we're going to talk the 2 games. The Oilers versus Kraken that happened on Saturday, very early Saturday, in Seattle. Then they flew back to Edmonton to play the Penguins, and now they're flying to Boston to take on the Bruins tomorrow night. We're also going to do the rig report, and it's a much different rig report as the month of February was not so good to the Edmonton Oilers, and they kind of reverted back into some old habits. And those old habits is kind of what I had in the intro video there. You may be wondering about that intro video. I wasn't even going to put it on this episode. I just decided to do a little side project and throw it on TikTok, but I was very proud of it, so I thought, you know what, I'll share it with you guys. Because it is really the reality. We've kind of learned ways from that time. And then I'll get your final thoughts, final comments. There's been a little bit of shuffling as far as the playoff positioning goes, and I've also did some corrections that I've realized for a couple episodes now. I had it up there as 2022, and we're not in 2022, so I apologize for that. I do make errors from time to time. You guys obviously know. There's a lot of moving parts to throw these episodes together, so it's not exactly the easiest task, but I'm a one-man crew. I try my best, and I try to deliver as much as I can and be respectful as I can. All right, guys, let's get into the Oilers and the Kraken game. Now, this was a very low-scoring affair, as there was only 3 goals in this game. Very entertaining, it was. I was okay with it. It was a hard-fought battle. The Oilers kind of started going back into what works, because when I do the rig report, there's a lot of details on their defensive game that came back to surface, so we'll get into that when we get into that. But as far as the Seattle Kraken game goes, we'll start off with the scoring summary. As it was a 2-1 final for the Oilers. There was no goals in the first period. Leon Draisaitl would get the first one at 10-12 from Connor McDavid, making it 1-0. That's the only goal for the second period. Kind of uneventful as far as the offense goes. Then Jack Kulak would get on the board. He's been actually notable, and I'll actually give him a star in the Penguins game, and we'll get into that a little bit. But yeah, he got his third from Ryan Nugent-Hopkins and Leon Draisaitl. It would be a 2-0 game where Eli Torvin would try to tally for the Seattle Kraken, and he did. He got one, splitting the difference, but 2-1 is your final. The Edmonton Oilers, played a decent game. It was a very tight checking game, I found. As far as the stats go, the game breakdown. Shots on goal, 25-24 for Kraken. So the Kraken led the way in shots. When it came to the hits on opponent, wow, this one really I had to double check this one. 20-8, the Kraken out-hit the Oilers 28. That is something I'm not very pleased about. When it came to the face-off percentage, another one that kind of shocked me, 56% was on the Kraken's favor. So usually Oilers with Draisaitl's a very good face-off guy. So usually the Oilers are on the winning end of things, maybe 52, maybe 53%. But yeah, that was not exactly, not exactly what you normally see out of the Edmonton Oilers. Usually that's some money in the bank. When it came to the power play, nothing on the power play, as they were 0 for 2. Penalty kill, they allowed 1 goal on 2, so they were 50% for the penalty kill. Block shots. This is a stat that usually fails the Oilers, and it happened to be their favorable one on this particular game. 21-13 for the Oilers on block shots. Again, this is another one of those stats I had to double check on just to make sure I was reading it right, because usually Oilers fill out this stat all the time. Takeaways, 14-8 for the Kraken. Giveaways, 6-3 Kraken, so we were actually pretty good at not giving away the puck, which I'll give that, but that's a very low number I found, and it's kind of interesting. As far as the stars go, I loved Vinny Desharnais' game. He was a +2 with 3 hits. He wasn't really an offensive factor, but he was really hitting the guys and really contributing to the wear down aspect of the game. Leon Draisaitl, 1 goal, 1 assist. And then my first star, Stuart Skinner. Again, you're seeing Stewie making my stars factor. That's, I think, the second or third now in a row that he has. He had a .960 save percentage. An amazing night. 24 saves, 1 goal he allowed in. Big deal. He played phenomenal. He was definitely well engaged. And I can't ask enough about him. That's all we need out of him. We definitely need the defense to be much better in front of him. And if that can't happen, then that's not very good. So that would move us on to the very next day, as the Edmonton Oilers would fly home and then take on the Pittsburgh Penguins last night. And I was really super excited for this game. But you know what? At the end of the night, even though the Oilers had a very commanding 6-1 win, there's some part of me that was a little bit down that we're witnessing kind of the end of the Sidney Crosby era. I loved what Sidney Crosby did for Team Canada. So it was a little disheartening. Now, there was one scene where the Oilers end up scoring a goal, and they showed a camera angle from the back of the net, and you can see Sidney way on the ice, and just, he's like, oh, okay, let's go back check. His body language spoke 1,000 words there. It's like, yeah, it's tough to see. Tough to see a talent like Sidney Crosby in his twilight. But you know what? Now we got Connor Bedard on the rise, and there's always going to be players filling the role. Anyway, let's get into this one. As This one had a few more goals, and it started off in the first period with Zach Hyman getting it from McDavid and Leon Draisaitl. What a fabulous year. This would be Zach Hyman's 41st of the year. You think he wants to go back to Toronto? No, but I think he made a hell of a decision coming to Edmonton. That would be it for the first period. Corey Perry would get his 8th of the year at 2:57 in the second period from Ryan McLeod and Warren Fogle. Zach Hyman, his 42nd from Leon Draisaitl and Evan Bouchard. Who says Zach Hyman's going to get 50 goals? I think it's very, very likely. Ryan McLeod, his 10th of the year from Brett Kulak and Evander Kane. Cody Ceci even gets on the board with his 2nd of the year from Warren Fogle and Brett Kulak. The Oilers were all over the Penguins in the second period. At this point in time, it's 5-0 for Edmonton, and Edmonton is just totally taking them out of the game. We go to the third period. For added for good measure, might as well throw Connor McDavid in there for his 23rd at 6:03 from Leon Draisaitl and Matthias Ekholm. And then Evgeny Malkin would ruin the shutout party for Stuart Skinner. And, it was Stuart Skinner, right? Or was it Calvin Pickard? It was Pickard, sorry, my apologies. Would ruin the party for Calvin Pickard from getting his shutout. But I'm still okay with this. I'm okay with this. And that definitely gives us a little bit more room in that second place spot. We have games in hand against Vegas, so it's looking good. Okay, let's break down the game here. As I'm trying to. Okay, where we go. Okay, 1 second. Okay, it should work. There we go. Shots on goal. We're 37-23 for the Edmonton Oilers. That kind of surprised me. That kind of tells you the pretty much the sum of it. That this team is an aging team, as they were nearly unshot double by the Edmonton Oilers. Hits on opponent. 29 hits each, so that was dead even. When it came to the face-off win percentage, this is where I normally see the Edmonton Oilers. They're definitely on the positive side of the face-offs. 57.4. Leon Draisaitl is a huge factor for that. He's really good on the dot. That's one thing that Leon Draisaitl definitely brings to this team. When it comes to the power play percentage, again, the power play is struggling for the Oilers right now, as they were 0 for 3 once again, 0%. Penalty kill, however, they shut the Penguins 2 chances down, and they were 100% on that. So no one scored on the power play at all in this game. Power play was not a factor. Block shots, 17-10 for the Penguins. Surprise, surprise, the Oilers fall short on the block shot stat again. Okay, takeaways, 14-13 for the Penguins. Giveaways, 11-13 for the Penguins. And my stars here, once again, I got another D-man in there. I put Brett Kulak in there. He was a +2 of 4 hits. I just liked his game, and he's not a guy that gets acknowledged a lot. I thought, you know what, I'm going to throw him in there for a star. And I kind of had to shuffle it a little bit. This game, by the way, it was tough for me to decide the stars because, unfortunately, I don't have Pickard in the stars, but he's definitely an honorable mention. A lot of players are honorable mentions. There's a lot of guys here that did well. But the fact that Brett Kulak led the way with hits at 4, I like that. I like kind of adding that element into it because there's more to the game than just goals and assists and all that kind of stuff. So, so I gave him the 3rd star. Second star, I give that one to Leo. He had 3 assists. He was a +3. He was just a standout. He was great on the dot. And then the 1st star, Zach Hyman with the 2 goals. Just an amazing night for him. And yeah, let's see if this team can repeat for tomorrow night when they take on the Boston Bruins at the TD Garden. For you guys there in Edmonton, it's a 5:30 Mountain start, so hopefully you guys can get out of work early enough. I'm hoping I can get out of work early enough to catch this, as it's 4:30 Pacific time for me. But it should be this is the rubber match from a few weeks ago, so I'm hoping to see some seeing Oilers really play that competitive game. All right, guys, it's time for the report card. It's the Rig Report. The Oilers in February definitely slipped a little bit, and they kind of reverted back to some old habits that we saw in October and early November, unfortunately, because there was a big drop in a lot of things, and I'm going to explain some of where they were in the league, as well as their grade that I'm going to give you on this particular Rig Report. Let's dive into it, guys. And let's go. So, just so you guys know, the reason why I'm kind of stalling on some of these graphics is I got a new camera here and I'm trying to kind of move between monitors. If my mouse isn't on one screen and I'm trying to switch over, it stalls it a little bit. My apologies. Okay, so let's start the Rig Report. Last month, for the point percentage, the Oilers had an A+, which would have put them. They were number one in the league. They didn't lose a game in January, right? So they were number one in the league. They were an A+. They dropped down to a B- as they angled off February 14th in the league for point percentage. When it came to shots for last month, they were a C+. This is one of the few stats that they actually improved on. This month, which would have put them last month at 17th overall in the league, this month they were third in the league, putting them at a A. They got the A on this one. Now here's a big drop. This is, when we start talking about the defensive end of things, this is where you're going to see the biggest drop. Last month, for shots against, they were an A+. Second in the league for shots against. They dropped off very huge. 27th in the league, putting them into a D spot. Very unimpressive. As far as the power play goes, they were number one in the league last month, giving them a A+. A bit of a drop off, not too much. 6th in the league for February, as they are now an A-. Again, let's get into some more defensive stats. The penalty kill took a massive hit. They were an A+, number one in the league last month, going through January. They are 31st in the league in February. I'm giving them a fail on this one. They absolutely failed the month of February when it came to the penalty kill. 31st in the league from first is an absolute unacceptable stat. Not impressed. Goals for. They were 17th in the league last month. Huge improvement this month. C+. They are now second in the league, giving them the A+. So, very good stat for them on that one. Goals against, again, it's another defensive stat. They were A+ in February or in January. In February, they dropped down to 29th overall in the league, putting them at a D-. Save percentage. Now, so this all correlates to the goaltending, and we always like to harp on the goaltending. I know I'm one. I know I'm very bad on this channel We don't complain about the goaltending, but a lot of it really does break down to the guys in front of you. So the save percentage, Stewart was number one in the league, or Stewart and Calvin were number one in the league, A+. In the month of February, they dropped down to 27th in the league, giving them a D. Face-off percentage has not changed as they stay 6th in the league for the both months, giving them an A-. Excuse me. And now the overall average of where they were at last month on the Lubed report in January, they got an A grade. They absolutely played very, very good. Rather than lose in January, so that has to say for something. So they got an A grade in January. They did revert back down to my December stat of a B- in February. So they definitely took some steps back. The team reverted back due to some old habits by focusing on the O zone and not so much on the neutral zone. They had great success last month. So yeah, there you have it. Like the real breakdown on the red report for is the neutral zone. They just need to. They need to be able to contain the situation before it becomes a situation. So I would say the neutral zone is something that they have to focus on. And at the very end is like that blue line. They cannot let teams go past that blue line, or they have to know how to contain teams in that blue line. They have to play what they played back in January, or late December or mid-December in January, because they were flawless. 16-game winning streak, come on. They put them in the position of being second in the league. Like this team was dead in the water November 13th, right? Like it was dead in the water. And they have rised and have succeeded very, very well. So that's good for them. Okay. The mighty, mighty Boston Bruins tomorrow. I'm hoping I can get home in time that I won't have to be caught up in any overtime so I can watch it. Luckily, we live in the world of PBRs and all that, so I can always watch it later. Put away the phone. I don't get to see all the stats and don't hear and get any text messages from my buddies and all that. I just put it all away. So we'll see. We'll see what happens here in that game. Let's dive into this one here, as it's the final last meeting between them, and we'll see how this plays out. This could be a Stanley Cup matchup. There's a lot of good teams though. Vancouver's good, Edmonton's good. And it's always usually a surprise team that actually takes the distance. I don't think much of us thought Vegas was going to win it, let alone play against the Florida Panthers last year. Okay, so let's dive into the game stats for this one. As these are two very, very decent opponents. The Boston Bruins are 8th on the power play. The Edmonton Oilers are 4th on the power play, so they kind of even their stats out a little bit there. When it comes to shooting percentage, Boston is 7th, the Oilers are 10th. That's another key stat here. A lot of the stats are actually a little bit on the higher end of things. Goals allowed, Boston is tied for 6th, so they're kind of a stingy team. The last time they played was February 21st, again, just a few weeks ago, back in Edmonton, where the Boston Bruins defeated the Oilers 6-5. So are the Oilers going to get revenge on this episode? I hope so. Likely starter is Stuart Skinner, 28, 13, and 2 with a .264 goals against average and a .905 save percentage with 2 shutouts versus Linus Ullmark, 16, 7, and 6. 280 goals against average, 909 save percentage, 1 shutout. The Oilers going into this game have a record of 37, 20, and 2. Meanwhile, the Boston Bruins 36, 13, and 4. When it comes to the home and away, Oilers are 17-12 away. The Bruins are 19-7 at home. Last 10, the Oilers are on a 6-3-1 streak, or 6-3-1, and the Bruins are 4-2-4. The Oilers are on a 4-game winning streak, and the Bruins are on a 1-game winning streak. The Oilers are looking to continue with their winning ways. Maybe, who knows, maybe we're going to be talking another massive winning streak here, which would be just amazing, but I'm not going to be too upset if that doesn't come to fruition. But this should be a good game, like I said. I am hoping that I can get home to watch this one take place. It should be really, really good. All right, let's get into the final thoughts, and we'll close the video out here fairly shortly. So as you can see, my Stanley Cup chart is updated, and you notice that the Edmonton Oilers are now on the right side of the chart. So the right side is home ice advantage. That is an awesome, awesome thing, as they now are second in the Pacific and doing really good. So we'll see how this all plays out in the next 6 weeks. I think we're starting to see what the Western Conference is going to look like, because teams like Nashville are starting to gain more and more ground on St. Louis and that. So we'll see how this all plays out. This is going to be a very interesting 6 weeks leading up to the Stanley Cup final, and we'll see what happens here. Hopefully we witness some good stuff. Let's see if you guys have any comments for tonight. James Smith. Oh, my audio is kind of out of whack. Okay, that could be something to do with the camera here. It's unfortunate. Okay, well, I'll check in there, James. I know I did a video with Sammy yesterday, and I had a quite distorted voice, so I'm going to have to work on that. I am using a new camera. Thanks for the heads up, James. It's too bad I never got it earlier. Okay, guys, I guess I'm going to wrap this episode up. It's been a good run for the Oilers so far. We'll see what happens. If you are new to the channel and you like what I bring and the content I bring, feel free to hit that like, share, and subscribe button. Those of you who have been with me through thick and thin, thanks for supporting me. And let's enjoy a massive playoff run, and hopefully a long playoff run coming up here in 6 short weeks. Other than that, guys, I'm out of here. Call it a night, and we'll see you on... When do they play? See you on Wednesday. Hopefully I got my audio issues fixed by Wednesday, James. I'm going to watch this video shortly here and see how bad it actually is. But until then, I'll see you Wednesday night. You guys have a good one.